I've got some terrifying news coming up about the real estate market, but that's actually a blessing in disguise for home buyers later this year and into 2024. Wait till you see this information coming up. What's going on, my YouTube friends? This is Jerry Abbott, your #1 real estate resource here in beautiful Las Vegas. Hey guys, a couple of quick things before we dive into the video. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn the cold hard facts about the Las Vegas real estate market and real estate in general, then definitely subscribe to the channel down below. Number two, make sure to give me a thumbs up like, guys. It would really help the channel out. And number three, if you are thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, whether it's next month or next year, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for nearly 20 years. I know every inch of this city. Just call, text, or email me when that time is right, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. Let's dive into the video. All right, so I put together some really cool new information about the real estate market, but the terrifying news is that certain media outlets are giving certain people the platform to tell the public some of the most nonsensical information about the overall real estate market. I want you guys to watch that segment coming up right now, and then the segments after that is going to prove to you why being a home buyer coming up later this year and into 2024 is a much better time than doing so right now. All right, I want to start with this first video segment. It's only a little over a minute long, but this came out on Yahoo Finance last week. I want you guys to watch this because this is the most shocking, head-scratching information you're going to see about the real estate market. Take a look at this short video clip, and then I'm going to come back on the other side and comment on it.
Let's talk about what's going on within housing right now when it comes to the residential side of things. Higher mortgage rates obviously has kept many buyers on the sideline. What do you make of the current environment right now?
Well, it's a choppy environment and a nervous one, and it shouldn't be. I think people are coming to the wrong conclusions on buying a home right now. I think it's the absolute best time to buy a home for a couple of reasons. One, interest rates will come down again, and if you buy it now, you can refinance. And also, if you wait until interest rates come down, even by 1.5 points, I think all hell is going to break loose. Everybody will come charging the market, and you'll be paying another 10% for the house. So there's nothing in my logic that says it makes sense to wait. You ought to jump in now and get the house while you can when there's less competition, and it's still very competitive.
What does the timeline look like on that, just in terms of rates dropping and housing prices potentially jumping 10%?
Well, the minute rates come down, who knows what's going to happen? We've had 11 increases in a row, and people are anticipating the rates will be kept steady or possibly come down. But the minute it comes down substantially, like north of 1 point, everybody's going to charge the market. That's the timetable on the whole thing.
Wow, I don't even know where to start with that. That's the kind of information that's being put out through a lot of media outlets talking about the real estate market still being in good shape, how now is the best time to buy, how interest rates are going down. That's just completely not true. In fact, you heard the person said in the interview, they said now is the time to buy, but then they also said that they think interest rates are going to go down by maybe another 1 or 2%. So why would now be the time to buy if you think interest rates are going to go down 1 or 2%? This is the kind of misinformation that's out there, and in the upcoming segments, I'm going to show you exactly why the real estate market has a lot more downside than upside as we go through the rest of this year and into 2024. All right, so I created this custom graphic just to show you guys how completely out of whack home prices are now compared to income. So I went back 42 years and just picked a random date back in 1981 to show you a more normalized market compared to how out of whack everything is now regarding home prices. Take a look over here on the left side. 1981, the average income was $22,000. Average home price, $48,000. That's a differential of 2.2. You go to the current date now, the average income for an individual is $56,000. Average home price, $420,000. That's a differential of 7.5. Now, if we go to the purple down here, it says normal home price to income ratio is 2.5. So again, back in 1981, that was a more normalized market, even though interest rates were higher. Now, it's ridiculously out of whack. In fact, if you take a look at the bottom, it says since 1965, home prices have increased 7.5 times faster than income. That's why, again, guys, I think this is a ridiculous market to be buying into. I think we're at the top of the market. I think there's a hell of a lot more downside coming than upside, and that's why being patient right now is the prudent play, in my opinion. All right, so one of the big drivers to real estate prices is interest rates. Now, the Fed just had their meeting a couple of weeks ago. They did not raise rates last time, but they hinted at raising rates in next month's meeting in July, and then the next one also in September. Now, if we take a look at this website here, this is the CME Fed Watch tool. You can see right underneath my picture here, we're about a month away from their next meeting. Now, I'm filming this about 5 days in advance of when you guys are going to see this, but I want to just scroll down here and show you this graph right here. The graph here, right here, where you see on the right side with this blue bar, it says 72%, and over here it says 28%. That means right now there's a 72% chance 30 days before the next meeting that the Fed is going to raise rates. That's a high probability. Doesn't mean it's absolutely going to happen, but it's a high probability. That means the Fed, because they had a pause last time, they are likely going to raise in July, and they could potentially raise again in September. That would put interest rates most likely closer to 8%, and if people have an average FICO score, they're going to be looking at 9% interest rates. I think that's going to freeze up the market, and that is going to shift the market massively as we go towards the end of this year. All right, so now let's take a look at this graph. This is the median sales prices of houses sold for the United States over the last 30 years, and there's a lot of good indicators here on this chart to really dictate where we think real estate prices are going to go from this point forward. I want you to take a look first here in the upper left. Average median sales price right now, $436,000 in the United States. But let's do this. Let's scroll down to the bottom left here. Back in 1993, 30 years ago, average price point was $127,000 for a home. Then we have this slight incline up all the way to right about there. That was the peak of the last real estate bubble back in 2006, 2007. Average price point, $257,000 for a home. And then it dropped off right here. And it dropped 20%. So the average price point there was about $208,000. So right there, we had a 20% drop. And that, I think, was really actually minimized because it's more so, in my opinion, than the 20%. But that was about the average for right then and there during that bubble. Then we start the incline back up, and then take a look right here. Right here was about $320,000 for an average price point, and then look at this just skyrocket straight up. This is the peak of the pandemic. We've never had this happen before in the history of home prices, and now we're starting to come down. So we went from about $320,000 in about 2 or 3 years all the way up to an average price of about $480,000. Now it's come down, but it's only come down to $436,000. That's not even a 10% drop. So that's a very good indicator showing that we have a lot more room to drop, because we saw that happen back in 2006, and that was not nearly as dramatic as what this is. That's why I think there's definitely more downside coming for this real estate market. All right, so now let's dive into my neck of the woods here in Las Vegas. I want you guys to take a look at this chart showing the Las Vegas median home prices month by month over the course of the last year. Now, I put some markings here on this chart, so I want you guys to take a look at this. On the left side here, this is May of last year, this long rectangular box that I put here. We hit the peak levels of real estate at $485,000. You can see that right underneath my picture. And then right after May of last year, we started a steady decline all the way to the beginning of this year, down to $420,000. That was a 13% drop that you can see right there from last half of last year to the beginning of this year. Then from the beginning of this year, we slowly climbed the ladder a little bit. We've gone up about 5%. So we've gone from about $420,000 to $440,000. But here's the thing, right now in this May-June time period, this is typically where we had that peak level, just like last year. And then look what happens on the back half of the year. It comes all the way down in a steady decline. That's what I think is going to happen here, except I think as we get up to this level right around here, whether it takes June or July, I think we're going to see the same thing on the back half of this year, that we're going to see this same kind of leading indicator where everything cools down in the back half of this year. So again, I think this is a little bit of a head fake, and then we're going to drop just like last year at the end of 2023, and I think home prices are definitely going to be better for buyers as we get to the end of this year. All right, so now let's take a look at a few examples here in the Las Vegas area on the popular real estate website Zillow. Now, I want to show you a few different examples at different price points just to show you the kind of price reductions that are still going on with certain homes around the valley. That's terrifying news for sellers because, again, they've lost a lot of equity since last year, and I'm going to show you a couple of examples now coming up. Let's take a look at this home right here. As we enter the luxury space here, you can see this home is listed at $1.5 million. They did a price cut of about $50,000 in mid-June, but more importantly, take a look down here where I'm moving the arrow. A little over a year ago, this home was valued by Zillow at $2 million. So if you bought this home last summer, you would be paying about $2 million. Now, if you were patient, like I've been advocating, take a look at where they're valuing it right now. Just over $1.4 million. So that again shows you that home prices are coming down. And if you're patient, I think this is going to continue. Let's take a look at the next example. All All right, so now let's take a look at this second example. Lower price point, very nice, modern, single-story, newer home here, listed at $849,000. You can see right underneath it, there was a price cut of $31,000 right around the beginning of June. But again, more importantly, take a look down here. A little over a year ago, this home price was valued at $912,000 by Zillow. Now take a look at it, $826,000. So this has come down about $90,000 in the course of 1 year. So again, had you bought it last year, you would be paying closer to $100,000 more than where the value is right now. And I got to tell you something, guys, like I said earlier in the video, I think these prices are going to keep coming down as we get through the back half of this year. So again, patience is the wiser option right now as we head into the back half of this year. Let's take a look at the third and final example. All right, so now let's take a look at this third and final example here in the Las Vegas Valley. This is a very nice two-story newer home listed at $550,000. But again, look underneath the price there. Price cut of about $20,000. So this home was listed at about $570,000 originally. But again, take a look down here, right where I'm moving the arrow. About a year or so ago, the home was valued at $612,000. Now Zillow has it estimated at a current market value of $533,000. So if you bought this home last year, this was $612,000 out of pocket. Now if you're buying this home, it's $533,000. So that's about an $80,000 price differential in the course of a year. That's what I've been advocating, guys. If you're sitting on the sidelines and you're being patient, this is what's been happening across the board with a lot of homes here in Las Vegas. And I think that's going to continue as we go through the rest of this year and into 2024. Patience is the prudent play, in my opinion. So sit tight, because I think these deals are going to keep happening as we go through the rest of this year. So the bottom line is this, guys. The real estate market is broken. If we go back just 10 years and take a look at people's salaries and incomes, they've gone up about 20 to 25% over that last 10-year period of time. But home prices have gone up over 200%. There's no way this is a sustainable market. Now, a lot of people are going to refute what I'm saying because they're seeing home prices go up during this spring and summer buying season with more competition. But there are economic storm clouds gathering for not only the economy, the stock market, but also the real estate market. That's why it is a wise option to be patient through the rest of this year and into 2024 before potentially buying a home. So before we end today's video, I just want to give a shout out to my favorite comment from last week's video, and that goes to Valion. Now you can see their comments here on screen pretty much talking about how all of the fundamentals are pointing towards a real estate decline. Otherwise, we could throw out about 100 years of historical data. And I think that's what's going to happen right now. I totally agree with it. I think this is a longer downtrending cycle that's going to take away a lot of the appreciation that happened during the pandemic. So again, if you're looking to buy a home, this could potentially take another 6 months, a year, possibly even 2 years before we see real estate prices bottom out. And just remember, guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure to leave me a cool or creative comment. And of course, like the video. And my favorite comment from this week's video, I'm going to give a direct shout out to in next week's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I also hope you appreciate my transparency. Like I've said before, I'm always going to keep it 100% real on this channel regarding the overall real estate market, with specific emphasis here in Las Vegas. So like I said earlier in the video, guys, real estate prices are near peak levels, and so too are interest rates. If you can be patient and sit on the sidelines for the rest of this year and possibly even into 2024, I think you're going to see at least more attractive pricing at that point, because right now it is not the time to buy a home if you're thinking about buying, especially here in Las Vegas, where I think prices are definitely going to come down in the next 6 to 12 months. But when the time is right for you guys and you are thinking about potentially relocating to Las Vegas, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I know every inch of this city. When the time is right for you, just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. I'll see you guys in the next video.